All right. Okay, part 3 of building an operations plan. In the previous 2 videos, we talked about updating our books and making sure our budget was good to go. And we also did a little bit of a deeper dive into burn rate and how that might affect the way you think about pricing your goods and services. In this video, we're going to spend more time talking about customer acquisition costs and lifetime value. So let's click over to our budget here so we get a better idea of what we're talking about. Customer acquisition costs, I think the more technical definition is whatever it costs you in expense for sales and expense for marketing added together, divided by how many customers that brought you is your customer acquisition costs. And that's a portion of your burn rate. So the work that you've done already to build out a good burn rate has been helpful because you know now what portion of that, based on your budget, what portion of that is your customer acquisition costs. That's a pretty narrow definition, although it's accurate. You could lean a little bit more, financially conservative and add in more costs that it takes you to get into your customers. I wouldn't necessarily go the full boat of adding your entire burn rate in and divided by your customer, by however many customers you bring in. Although an argument could be made for, it is the full overhead of your business that costs you to bring in those customers. But the most technical definition, I believe, is your sales costs plus your marketing costs divided by however many customers you have. The lifetime value then is the amount of business, the amount of dollars on average your customer brings you during some sort of time horizon. Meaning you might be looking at it over a quarter, you might be looking at it over a year, right? During that year, how many customers did you bring in and what level of business, how many dollars did they transact with you on the average? That is your lifetime value. So as you think about it, your customer acquisition cost should be much, much smaller than the lifetime value that your customers bring you. In software as a service, SaaS world, I've heard it said that the gold standard is a 5-to-1 ratio, 5 times in LTV what it costs you in CAC to get somebody in the door. So if your CAC is $5 per customer acquisition cost costs you $5 to get a customer in the door. You want them to be doing at minimum $25 with you. That is the gold standard. We know there's a good health there in the business. Obviously, a greater ratio, a 6-to-1, a 10-to-1, right? That's always good too. But if you want some sort of an idea of like, okay, since I've calculated my burn rate, I can pull out my sales and marketing costs, and I can make that CAC very clear, that number very clear, and I can go back into my QuickBooks and pull out what level of business has my customers done with me, and understand lifetime value, and then put that as a ratio between those two. If you need a good formula for how to track customer acquisition costs and lifetime value and put those as a ratio, here in the formula bar is that formula. So just as an example, my customer acquisition costs in this particular example is $15. The lifetime value that my customers are doing with me here in this fictitious example is $2,500. So I have a 164-to-1 ratio, which is much higher than that 5-to-1. Now, this is nobody's data. This is just a fictitious example. But that's a very, very, very strong LTV to CAC ratio. So you might be asking yourself, Will, what is the interplay between understanding my pricing and understanding my CAC and LTV and increasing that ratio of lifetime value to customer acquisition costs? It's all right here inside your pricing, right? Is your pricing right against your burn rate? If you increase your pricing and decrease the amount of time that it takes you to fulfill those products, in essence, that's going to increase the lifetime value of your customer. Number 2 is understanding where folks stop doing business with you. I think it's Wayne Gretzky that's credited with, skating to where the puck is going, right? That quote. And that's true of expanding your products and services to your customer. Understanding, what work have you done for them, and what work do they need then next? And determining whether or not your business is positioned to go do that for them. Increasing lifetime value does not always mean just increasing the price of your products and services. It also can be increasing the the level of service that you're providing, right? So the old adage of "What have you done for me lately?" Is a lot of probably what your customers are thinking after a certain amount of time if you're not providing them additional products and services. And so, why send them to another shop to have them do something that you could very easily do in-house? Again, that's a business strategy decision, understanding if that fits your market well and if that's a proximate competitive advantage for you to offer additional services. But I would begin, once you've got to this point and you've cleaned up your pricing and you have good awareness of what your CAC to LTV is, that should be part of the conversation between you and your business partner going forward, which is where can we increase the value to our customer based on what level of service or what kinds of services and products we're offering. So if you have any questions, please drop them down in the comment section below. If there's something that you want clarified, please reach out to me and be happy to jump on a call with you and walk through more. So hope you all have a great day. Thanks.